Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I am Joy Francis, your life, love, and relationship coach. Thank you for joining me. So, this episode, I would like to tell you a story about me, which will lead into essentially today's topic. So, I met this woman, as all these stories will probably start out with, and, getting to know each other, everything was going fantastic. Now, like most people, she was an extremely busy person, so her free time was limited. But as getting to know her, we managed to go out a few times, and things really went very well from there. And we started to talk more and see each other more. But what I ended up finding out is that she had a weakened immune system, so she would get sick frequently. Now, me being a generally nice human being, if somebody is sick, I'm not going to tell them to come out with me. I'm going to tell them to stay home and get better because we have all the time in the world to go out and, you know, be together. And that's exactly what I did. So a bunch of our dates ended up getting canceled because she was sick and I felt bad. I didn't want her to risk getting more sick, especially if she had a weakened immune system. So things were still going fairly well at that point. I would message her, she would message me. I'm the type of guy that essentially says good morning every day. I kind of make it part of my routine, especially if I care about somebody and I'm getting to know them. And reversely, she would message me good night every day because she would end up going to sleep before me. And everything was absolutely fantastic till it wasn't. Now, I can't comment on why things started to go awry, but nonetheless, they did. And I noticed that she wasn't reaching out as much as she used to. She wasn't sending me messages that she was thinking about me or curious to what I was up to or what I was doing or how my day was. And she stopped messaging me goodnight. Now, I get it, especially with someone that's sick a lot and tired and has very little time. I know that I'm not top of the priority list. So for the most part, I let stuff like that go. If it becomes a trend that all of a sudden, you do something for a couple of months and now it just stops altogether, then maybe there's an issue. So one night I messaged her and just to check up and see how she was doing, because if at that point, if I didn't message her, she wouldn't reach out. And I messaged her and checked up and said goodnight to her, and she didn't respond to the message. She just liked it. The next day, I brought that to her attention. I said to her, "Hey, is there any reason why you didn't say goodnight to me last night?" Because I've reached out to her and she just liked the message. So I wasn't worth actually writing out, "Hey, thanks for checking in. I'm just going to sleep. Good night," whatever the case is. And her response was, "If you want me to say goodnight, you can reach out too." Okay. Well, I then pointed to the fact that I did say goodnight to her and that she only liked the message. And I was just curious to why I wasn't worth her responding with goodnight as opposed to just liking the message. And I know this is petty stuff, but these petty things always lead to something bigger. Nonetheless, she apologized and promised that she was going to do better. Now, when someone says they're going to do better, that's almost a little worrying to some degree because it's like you recognize that you're doing something wrong. Okay. Granted, I did bring it to her attention, but all I said was this one thing, not about her not messaging me anymore. It was just about that one specific incident. Nonetheless, she said she was going to do better. What worried me also is that I brought a concern to her attention. And rather than her addressing my concern and, talking about it and figuring it out, she went into defense mode and said, well, if you want this, then you should do it. And it's like, but I'm the one coming to you. And you're blaming me for this now. Okay. That is a narcissistic tendency. And I'm not saying that she's a narcissist because I'm pretty sure she's not. But I can kind of see her point of view where she felt attacked and felt like she needed to attack back, as opposed to like, oh, wait a minute, something's really going on here. So let's talk about it. And again, the conversation was very brief. It was like, oh my God, I'm sorry. And I promise I'll do better. Okay, sure. No, she didn't do better. So for the next few weeks, actually like week and a half, I would again say good morning to her. And, some days I would reach out in the evening, other days I wouldn't. And the days that I wouldn't, we just wouldn't talk after that. Like that was it. Just after the good morning, she would reply and then that'd be the end of it. And then one day I reached out and I said to her, just checking in, seeing how you're doing. I just want you to really know that I actually really care about you, and I hope that you're doing well. And I hope that, you're feeling better, because she was sick. And she replied with, I really care about you too. I really appreciate you. You always reach out. You always make me feel loved. Thank you so much for thinking about me. You're really amazing. Okay. Now, a few weeks to all of this, I asked her straight out, because I did notice a dip in the messaging, and I asked her straight out, I'm like, hey, is everything okay? Like, are you still interested in pursuing this? Is it a time thing? Do you not have, if you don't have room in your life for this, I understand. And she actually got angry. She was not angry, but she raised her voice to the point that it was like, no, I really appreciate you. I really like you. I'm liking where this is going. And I said to her, I'm like, well, because listen, I understand that I'm, at the bottom of your list of priorities. And I mean, granted, I'm just some guy that came into your life a couple of months ago. So that's where we're going to be. And I go, I totally understand that, but you don't need to make me feel like that, like little things here and there, like saying goodnight to me and messaging me, these are the things that make someone feel like, okay, I'm thought of, I'm cared for. This is going somewhere for someone that's like worthy of my caring and love and all this other stuff. Nonetheless, going back now, so she would never reach out, never would say goodnight to me again. And she reassured me saying, no, I really care about you. I appreciate you and all that stuff. And then after that, I said to myself, okay, then she'll get her good morning because that's what I do. And I'm not going to respond. Like, that's it. I'm not going to reach out throughout the day. I'm not going to reach out in the evening, and I'm not going to say goodnight until she does it first. And I know it sounds like a game, but the thing is when you're feeling a certain way about a person and it turns out to be true, you know what I mean? I brought it to her attention. She said that she would do better. I mentioned to her that I care about her and, that I enjoy talking to her and her company. And she reciprocated. But then nothing. It's like actions speak louder than words here. So I didn't. I did exactly what I just said. I messaged her good morning every day and then nothing else. And I did it for about I think it was like 4 or 5 days. But after that, nothing. Like, no check-ins, no good nights, no nothing. So I just cut it off at that point. And I said it to her. I'm like, listen, I really care about you and this is hard for me to do, but I can't handle this anymore. you say that you care about me, you say that you appreciate me, but you do absolutely nothing to show that aside from saying it after I say it to you. And I'm done with this. And I wish you the happiest life. And I thank you for the time that we spent together. And goodbye. And I essentially cut it off there. And that was it, which essentially leads to the topic of breadcrumbing. Because I know that I'm not the only person that has gone through this or that will ever go through this again. And I'm sure there's actually a ton of you out there that are going through this exact situation where you're dating somebody or getting to know someone. And when you're together or when you're talking, everything is fantastic. Everything is amazing. But when you're not, it's like they don't even exist. They don't reach out. They don't care. They don't check up on you. Sometimes it takes them forever to respond to your messages when it never did before. And you think about and you contemplate walking away, just as I did. And then they come out and say, no, 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 I really care about you. You mean a lot to me. And they hook you for, another period of time. And then you go through the motions again where you feel great. You feel fantastic. You're like, you know what? Okay, maybe they're just going through something in their life. Maybe they just didn't have time this week. Maybe it's a temporary thing. And all is going to be well. And then all isn't well. And essentially it happens again. And you start to feel like crap. And then you bring it to their attention. And they go, no, 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 no. What are you talking about? At some point, you need to look at yourself and you need to ask yourself, is this what you want your future to be? Is this what you want your future to look like? Where if you don't say nothing, nothing will be said to you. That if you don't do something, nothing will be done to you. And I mean like, going out on dates and things of that nature. That if you're not the one putting the effort in, then it's almost like it doesn't exist. Now, I can't tell you what to do. That's completely up to you. But you have to recognize your effort and you have to realize your self-worth and your value. Do you deserve to be treated this way? Because I don't believe that you deserve to be treated this way, but you have to believe that. And you have to have the strength to essentially walk away or, put your foot down. This is essentially what boundaries are, right? When we have a boundary, like for me, this is my boundary. My number one red flag, and I mean, I've probably said this to you already, but if I haven't, because I don't really remember, but if I haven't, my number one red flag is that I only like people who like me. So if I'm putting in 100% of the effort and the other person is putting 0% of the effort, aside from responding when it's convenient to them, then essentially, no, thank you. I don't want any part of that. Yeah, yeah. Actually, there's this woman that I follow on Instagram. And if you guys are listening to this, you've probably heard of her before as well. If I can even find it now, because, why be prepared for such things? uh, let's see. Saved. Okay, we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. And oh, it's not here. Okay, I guess never mind. Oh, wait, no, here it is.
Healed spiritual men who are deeply rooted in their masculine are nurturers. If you look at father and how he treats his daughter, he's not chasing. Nobody's chasing. But that's how a man should be when he likes a woman, when he's healed. If there's a game of chasing, I have to act hard to get. He gets me. Then he acts hard to get. Then I get him. Yeah. Then every time I want to be nice, I don't text. It's like too too much. It's too much for my head. I cannot do these games. And as I said, imagine I like him and I'm not calling him or texting him because I'm waiting for him to do it. Yeah. And Sarah dies the next day. What's my last memory with him? Didn't do it, and my last day with him, I didn't do anything because I wanted him to chase. I'm not waiting for a man to choose me. I'm choosing him. What?
And there you go. That's essentially what I'm talking about, where it needs to be mutual. It needs to be mutual. Like this idea of chasing, it's great when we're 16. It's fine when we're 20 and 25. But as we get older and we have actual life responsibilities and priorities and things that we need to take care of, especially if we're someone that was married and has kids, well, now what? Do we have time to be playing these kinds of games of chasing someone? No, we don't. So if your efforts aren't reciprocated, then what's the point? What are you doing? Why are you putting so much effort into a person who doesn't put the same effort into you, doesn't value the same way you value them? And like I said, my biggest red flag, my biggest deal breaker, my biggest boundary is that if you don't like me, I'm not going to like you. Full stop. And I hope that you all out there listening to this adopt this and stop letting people take advantage of you and your time and your kindness and your generosity. It's okay to be a little selfish in this matter. It's okay to want somebody to want you. And if they don't, that's fine. There's lots of other people out there. And I know because we get sometimes trapped in our head where, the devil you know versus the devil you don't. Do you want to be single and alone versus having someone, but that someone is like, A lot of people are afraid of being alone. So they'll take the Why? This is going to carry on to other episodes. But if you aren't happy yourself and you rely on somebody else to make you happy, you're failing from the beginning. It's not fair to them and it's not fair to you. And I think that's part of the I'm scared to be single, because you're relying on someone to give you something that you don't give yourself. So, lightly touching base on this, make yourself happy before you go out into the world. Be happy being single. And that way, you'll be able to walk away from anybody that doesn't provide what you require. I'm going to leave it there for this week. I appreciate you guys so much. If you've made it to the end, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And if you have any questions for me that you would like me to answer, or any podcast ideas, stories you want me to tell and comment on, please, you can email me at joyfrancis@gmail.com. That's joyfrances@gmail.com. Or you can go to my website, joyfrancis.com. That's joyfrances.com. And there you can send me a message and you can email me. You can do all the things. You can contact me. We can talk. I can help. Again, thank you so much. And I want you to remember that if you don't take care of yourself, no one else will take care of you. I don't know if is that a decent tagline for the end of these things? You let me know. Till next time.